I don't know. Drugs are out, sex is out, politics are out. Everything is on hold. I mean, we definitely need something new. I just keep waiting for some new voice to come out of somewhere and just say, hey. Business. I got my wild cherry Diet Pepsi, and I got my blackjack gum here, and I got that feeling. Yeah, that familiar feeling that something rank is going down out there.
Where darkness breeds, Krampus awakens, fueled by deeds. Chains will rattle, no place to hide. The hunt begins, it's Judgment Night.
And if you can't believe it, it's a Friday once again.
Good. You're not coming home. Where can I go then? You can go to the gutter where you belong, you filthy pig!
The stuff that dreams are made of.
Huh?
On a night where the mercury plummets, the moon hangs like a bruised ornament on the eaves of existence, and the wind whispers warnings in a dozen dead dialects, we find ourselves here tonight on the verge of talking about myths and legends. But tonight is more than a night stitched from sleet and superstition, where the boundary between Yuletide and hellscape thins to a trembling thread. Here, on this frigid frontier between comfort and calamity, we find ourselves stepping gingerly into a realm where stories breathe frost and shadows breed folklore, cracking the cover of creation and wander into the carmine corridors of the Christmas corrupted, where St. Nicholas's saintly silhouette is swapped for the horned-hooved heraldry of holiday horror. In tonight's snow-swept saga, this myth made of menace and mistletoe stands a lone figure, a red right hand raised against the ravaging darkness that bore him, a demon born yet burdened, a warrior wandering in service of humanity that never asked for his help, but needs him all the same. This is your invitation into the gutter. Everyone ends up here eventually. It is only a matter of time. And welcome back, co-host JP. You weren't able to be with us last week due to the holiday season, but you are more than welcome back, and it's good to have you, man.
Yeah, man. I just want you to know, even though it's gone, that I still believe.
Good.
Na, 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 na.
Grease yourself up with some Crisco and grab a saxophone, buddy. It's on.
How was your tea day?
It was good, man. Well, we can
What did
discuss.
you do? Talk to me. Did you do a turkey? Did you do a goose? Did you do a beef rib?
The family did 4 turkey breasts, and they were delicious.
That sounds like the whitest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, it was very Caucasian, for sure. But turning to our chat, let's greet some people here before we dive into our book this evening. We've got Citizen Ronan joining us. Good to see you. Snuggy Jr., always a pleasure to see my buddy Snuggy in the chat. Mr. Bemis has joined us. Always an honor to have Mr. Bemis grace our chat. Hojo shockingly made it. He's usually in bed by 9:30, folks. What else we got here? Everybody scrolling down.
Where's Hojo? I don't see him.
That's South River Studios.
Oh, okay. So is that like the Ravens and the Jets, just like
I think so.
up?
I think so. I think South River Studios is the name of the production company that puts together the joke of the NFL that is the Jets.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Carry on.
Henry Bemis says the sax player is almost as oily as Buster Crabbe. Almost. Very astute position. Hojo says the only Friday show still not considered in Netflix's rides to Hydra level supremacy. Hail Hydra, indeed, and subscribe to Netflix. Yo, Hojo, wish they'd go back to names instead of handles. Yeah, going to handles was an interesting choice, whoever did that. Yeah. And who are you, South River Studios? That, again, is the Hojo. So, but yeah, ladies and gents, tonight we will be talking about none other than this glorious little holiday festive book, Hellboy, KrampusNacht. This is from Dark Horse Comics. It's from December of 2017. It's not hard to find, but the price is going to vary. If it's in mint, you're going to be looking at a whole $5 for this 32-page floppy with 22 pages of stories and some really nice back matter. I like the back matter in this one. There are a couple of covers. Let me just go over those. There's just 2 other ones. There's a B variant and a C variant. So those are the covers for it. But the variants are going to go for a little bit more. I've seen the C variant go for anywhere up to 15 at times. It just depends on how dumb the market is. But this is a book that you should readily be able to find. And I do recommend. It's an absolute recommend. It's a really fun. For those of you that are unaware of who created it, Mike Mignola is the creator of Hellboy. Mike does a great job. And one of the things I really like about Hellboy is, and we talked about the Crooked Man before on the show, but which is another Hellboy story. But they're really short. I mean, obviously there's the ongoing series, but there's a whole bunch of these little one-offs that are like 4 issues or 5 issues, or in this case, just a single issue. And they're a lot of fun. He really is able to capture what I think the standalone floppy should be. And that's just a fun encapsulating story that's got some good action, some great art, and some dynamic moments to it. The art in this particular issue is done by one Mr. Adam Hughes. And but not to dwell too much on it, let's dive right in. Before we do so, though, JP, do you have any thoughts before we jump right into the story in the book here?
Well, I mean, most of my questions kind of centered around this is a very short story, like you alluded to, and I was just kind of wondering if there, I mean, because it really did have, it has the feel of like when you were watching a sitcom or an animated show as a kid, and there would be like the Christmas episode, and
Yep.
it was like it felt like a little bit detached from a larger narrative. So I wasn't sure if there was any kind of like history of or context involved in this, because it just seemed like either that or it was just like the quickest read in the world.
It is. It's a very quick read, and all of the Hellboy stories exist within one universe, and the stories are not released chronological, but each issue tells you at least generally when it's set or when it's happening. And each one, they all kind of eventually you can thread them all together and get a picture of the story as a whole. This one takes place in Austria in 1975. And there's stories throughout the Hellboy series that occur before this, and there's stories that occur after this. And this is just what's happening in Austria in December of 1975 for Hellboy, who's kind of on one of his wandering jaunts through the world, if you will. And he's always kind of drawn to darkness and evil and things that go bump in the night. But when we open up, what were your thoughts on this opening? Because this is a unique way to open a story with the reference to God rest you merry gentlemen.
Man, I just realized at this very moment that I don't have a lot of criticisms, and this is going to be a very short and boring episode because I just kind of enjoyed it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so stripped down and bare bones and simple, and the art's pretty to look at, that nothing really stood out to me in terms of like I wasn't like really raring to go like, oh, I can't wait, this, we're gonna roast this, or you know what I mean? Like it's been 24 hours since I read it, and I can think of maybe 2 panels that I especially enjoyed. But I mean, and we'll get to it there. It's pretty much when Hellboy's like, I'll oblige you, and shoots him. But I mean,
Right.
like, yeah, I mean, the aesthetic here is right up my wheelhouse. The snow, the churchyard, the contrast of the darkness of the headstones with the white. It's like, it's all stuff I love.
No, and that's one thing this book does really, really well.
The way the red of Hellboy stands out from the
Yep.
environment.
It's the contrast. Everything in this book is about contrast. And that really becomes apparent like around Act 2, about 2/3 of the way through Act 2 and the later portion of the middle of the book. I think they really do a great job. But this opening page sets that tone. It shows you the contrast. We're in Austria. It's December. There's snow on the ground. And it's either bright, blinding, refracted light from the snow, or it's heavy shadow. And the only color is Hellboy. And I that's just it's stark. It sets the tone. And to your point earlier too, that you don't have any criticisms, but at the same time you can think of only like a couple of things that really you want to like rave about. That's what this book is. It's a really, really solid like double or triple. It's not a home run, but it does its job. It gets in, it tells the story very efficiently and very bare bones. This is almost a textbook on how to tell an engaging story without overemphasizing anything, without too much narration, without too much dialogue. It's very, very stripped down. It's very bare, but man, it works. But it doesn't work in that way that you're like, oh my God, you guys got to read this. It just works as like, this is just a great book just to pick up and read and go, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but if you think about it, a holiday story, a double or a triple, a single is more than enough. You know what I mean? Because you don't really, because I feel like a lot of holiday stories that are trying to shoot for the moon end up falling so flat because there's so much, not just history in general, but culture and history and storytelling, that sometimes you just want something that you can enjoy with your kids. You know what I mean? That's the single is basically the single is enough.
Right. It's just it's the old adage, just get on base. And
Yeah, it gets a run home.
Magnolia and Hughes, I think they exceed that goal. Like I said, I think it's like a solid double or a triple. It's better than just getting on base when your goal is just to get on base. And I really I wish more indie books in the indie scene were like this. I mean, this is what just a standalone floppy should be in every regard. Maybe have a little bit more of a punch to the story, but at the same time, I don't think it's needed. It's just a really solid above average book.
Yeah.
And those are so rare. This came out in 2017, but I'd be hard pressed. Donnie, or I think it was Donnie Cates, did Venom with Venom in Vietnam and Wolverine and Nick Fury. That's another one that's in this same wheelhouse. And we'll probably talk about that in January or February, because I kind of want to start highlighting some books that aren't major standouts, aren't hard to get, but just are really effective at telling their story in floppy format, since that seems to really be a thing that a lot of people are challenged by.
Maybe just like good value.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but here we open the story, and we open the story with God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing to you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power. And that's where we get introduced to Hellboy. So now we're playing a little bit with illusion and metaphor. And then we get that great panel 4 break where Hellboy's turning his head as you get the please from across the page. And then when we were gone astray. And so we've set the tone. You know where the story is going to go. Again, they're not pulling any punches. They're almost leading you by the hand through the story. And we go to the next page. And now we have a ghost, an apparition. And this woman is begging Hellboy to save her son. And again, we get that same contrast that we saw on page 1. Again, that's going to be the echo. It's going to be the carrying theme throughout all this. The more interesting things to note here, and I'm sorry, if I turn to the chat real quick. I saw Mr. Sandberg joined us. Let me, there he is. Good evening, greetings, Mr. Sandberg. Always a pleasure. Mr. Sandberg, of course, is the creator of Jupiter, which is issue 2 is available for sign up over on IndieGoGo. Make sure you go check that out, everybody. There's a link for it if you go to the Autumn of Aldous, which is now, it's still available, but we got to figure out something for winter. Or maybe we'll just let Autumn of Aldous ride through the winter. But either way, good to see you, Mr. Sandberg. And then Belmont has joined us. Always good to see my buddy Belmont. Hey, everybody. Just woke up. Well, good to have you, man. Thanks for stopping by. But so anyway, so we get into the story a little bit. Again, we've got that contrast. Now on page 1, we do this really clean stack. And now we're drifting away from that almost immediately. We're doing these overlay panels. And it works in the context of how the story is going to go. And you're going to see a lot of that shifting. Well,
I like how on the first page it gets darker as you go down. But then it's still a little bit darker. And so even though we started on white and we got slightly less white, by the time they bring in Sexy Ghost Lady, it's so dark that she still stands out.
Yep. And you're going to see a lot of that. Again, every theme that's set up in this first page, from the choice of verse of God rest ye merry gentlemen to the I don't know how to describe it, the tint of the page getting darker as you progress down the page. These are all going to be reoccurring themes. The stark white, the heavy shadow.
Tints.
Yep, the use she does have nice tints. So you got all that, and then we move into the story, and he sees a house, and as the apparition disappears, he's got, your hero's been established with what he is tasked to do. He's to rescue this woman's son. And then we return back to the song, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and then it drifts off. And again, we're playing with those metaphors. Again, it's not heavy-handed. It's just guiding you with where you need to be. They're using the narration very, very succinctly to just put the pin in it and move on. They're not going to dwell any time on it. We're not going to try to pretend that we're going to do anything grand here. We're just going to walk you through the story. And he walks up to the house, and there's an old man, and he was expecting him. And Hellboy knows who he is because he greets him. He says, Master Schultz, Wilhelm Schultz. And he says, oh, yes, of course, come in, please. And it appears that from the table, he has been waiting for him. Like he knew Hellboy was coming. And as we enter, and you already get the perspective of this, the outside, white, stark. Again, that light and shadow. Inside, we get the warmth glow. We get warmth and light. And as we then turn and go inside, we get the warmth and light. But, and this, we're back to that stack. We're doing a stack again. The bottom page has evaporated everything in the background, and it's just their faces as they talk. And it's a perfect setup. It's focusing on where you want to be at this point in the story. It's really clean. It's really crisp. It just very effective. They go back and forth. Yes, he was expecting him. Please sit and have some food. Hellboy says, no, I'm good. And Wilhelm says, this will be about the business at the church the other day. And Hellboy just says, that's right. And so now we've established that Hellboy knows who this. We're on page 4, ladies and gentlemen. We've established time, method, mode, theme, and that the characters know each other. Very, very efficient use of page count. Just very good. So now the next thing is, well, what happened at the church? So now we cover that because everything's moving fast. We're not going to waste any time. So we jump right into what happened at the church. And JP, I don't know about you, but I felt this was kind of striking to me because this early we get the weakest page in the book, in my opinion.
Go on.
Just it doesn't feel finished to me, even though it's a memory and it's.
Do you mean because in the cabin setting it feels so, like, I don't know, lived in? It looks like a room that you really just want to be in, and then we cut to a scene of just like kind of unfinished scenery.
Well, I think what it is if you look, we're going to go back to page 1, right? Light and dark, snow and shadow. Other than
Right.
Hellboy, Hellboy is the bright color. He is alive. The world around him is dormant. It is dead because it's winter. He's alive, even though he's a being of hell. He still has color. And even when we're in the woods, the apparition, she's the absence of color, right? So we've got Hellboy living, even though he's a minion of hell, colorful. The apparition is the absence of color, and even nature around her is not as pure as she is, right? So even nature has a little bit of a tint to it. There's a little bit of gradient going on. And when you get into the house, he's ruddy, right? Wilhelm's flesh is ruddy. There's life. His house is warm. It's inviting. There's yellows and browns. But then when you go to this dream, it's dull and gray other than the red. And I think the red is the mistake.
Okay.
Because now you're taking away that starkness of Hellboy in the memory for what happened in the church. And then the candle throws me too.
Do you think that cutting to a flashback would be better done in, well, I guess sepia wouldn't work, but black and white?
I think a black and white or at least a grayscale would have been a little bit better of a choice here for this. I think it would have been more impactful. I also think
maybe a blue scale.
A blue scale would be interesting too. I think anything that sets it apart so you don't have this coloration issue.
Yeah, because there's so much red in the cabin with Hellboy and the candle. Yeah, okay.
So taking that away, doing that, I think the page still works, other than it's a little too panel heavy. And this is the other, it just stands out because we've got this extensive dialogue that Wilhelm says. And he says, he did this event in the church, and, Hellboy says, you scared the crap out of a lot of people. And Schultz responds, and made a rather expensive mess, I imagine. I'm sorry about that. But I heard you were in the neighborhood and thought it might be the sort of thing to get your attention. I don't think all of that is needed. I think, why does it matter how expensive it was?
Yeah.
It seems a non sequitur. Like, what? It doesn't, we're not flowing into anything. Up till now, we've been very efficient with what we've said, but now we're getting a little clunky.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you take that kind of diatribe he's on and boil it down to the point, the only point is, I wanted to get your attention. And what would be the most efficient way to say that? Just have him say that.
Well, and if you go back to the previous page, he's fairly succinct in what he's talking about. He's not long-winded. He's right and quick and to the point. But then now we're giving this long, flowy explanation. I didn't like this page for a variety of reasons that I've already elaborated on. But those just struck me as off. And, so, then okay, so you're going to come to dinner. And if I can turn to the chat real quick, Kayla has joined us. Good to see you, Kayla. Thank you so much.
Which,
And,
by the way, that bothers me, by the way.
What does?
I hate it no matter whether it's a comic or a TV show or a movie. I hate wasted food. I hate it when people put out food and nobody eats it.
Snuggy says white scale. There you go. And going to the next page, and now we're back to what works. So it's just like that one page is just kind of, I don't. What's that?
Tink.
Oh, Tink. Yes, indeed. That is well done. But you will have a drink at least, and they cheers. And again, we're going to essentially a stack, going back to what we've talked about before. It's melody and muse and flow, and you're setting the tone. They're doing a good job here. I really like that silhouette panel. I wish that silhouette panel was a little bit bigger and a little bit more impactful, because I really thought that's perfect. After they cheers and you get the silhouette of them drinking. Like, that's really, really great. It's just great layout. I wish it was bigger. I wish it was more impactful. Because the next thing, he pulls out Hellboy pulls out a drawing, and he says, "Thanks. Apparently, you'd rather that told Father Mueller that you aren't really human. You are, in fact, you claim to be this guy." And it's a picture of Krampus. If you know who Krampus is. If you don't, we'll maybe get into that in a little bit. But then we turn the page, and then Schultz goes into his explanation for why he had the pig. Let me pull up my copy of the page here so I can actually read it. And I liked this. I liked panel 1. He takes it and he goes, "That's not a very good likeness."
No,
there
but
should
I
be a lot
like
more blood.
how he does kind of look like him. Like, that's I
Yeah,
don't know.
there's
That's
the
just very
hint.
interesting to me, is to take this creature and now I want you to draw him, but kind of just look a little bit like him, but also a unique human being.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think they've got a suggestion, because he's wearing a guise, right? If he really is Krampus, he's wearing a guise, but the guise that he's wearing suggests all the features that if he's going to transform, which he is, it's got all the features of it. It's got that the beard is the angular chin, the puffs of hair on the sides, the bald palate. It's just everything suggests, including those heavy cheeks and that big nose. It's just everything's there that you want, and you can see how it'd be malformed into the monstrous creature as he transforms. But Hellboy says, "Okay, you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm an American. Over there, we've got Santa Claus and the elves with the toys. Over here, you've got Saint Nicholas and his monstrous sidekick, the Krampus. While Saint Nick's handling out the toys, Krampus, that's you, hits the bad kids with sticks and rides them around in a basket. I guess so they'll be good next year." And then Schultz says, "Next year? Oh no. Once I've had my hands on them, they never see another year." And then
Damn.
yeah. And then I like it. Just, "You don't believe me," and it zooms right in on his eye. I don't think that panel's needed, but I liked it.
Yeah.
And so then we turn to the next page, and Schultz is going to reveal what's in the box. And it's real simple. He just throws him a stone, and the stone, at first it looks like a stone, and it's a skull. And it's, little Gottfried Hupler, Salzburg, 1832. See how he ended in his days. And then it goes back. And now here, to your point, before you talked about a blue filter, here we use a blue filter as we drift back and see what Gunther Humfred went through.
That's a green filter.
I'm sorry, green filter. But we get that nice play, and you see the terror as Krampus comes and grabs him, and Hellboy drops it. He's like, "Oh my God!" Like he's actually shocked by the violence that's there, which is something that it shocks Hellboy. But again, we're playing with red, we're playing with color. Only now it's all muted, and I like that, because now we get the reveal of what he actually is. And I really like that transition where the house loses all warmth the minute he transforms into what he actually is, his demon self, the Krampus himself. And he goes through this, right, and this is where I did like the writing. I don't know, what were your thoughts on this little soliloquy that he gives?
Well, I mean, you got to have it here when you're having both a reveal, you have the splash. Yeah, I'm good with this.
All right, but he says,
Pandemonium.
yeah, hellfire, smoke, and pandemonium. Do you remember the place? I don't, though I know I was born there. So what crime did I commit to be sent here, this cold world, this prison? What could I have done to deserve this, and how long am I bound to stay? You have been here barely a minute, while I have endured hundreds and hundreds of years. Krampus they named me, and Krampus I have been. Like, just up till this is why if you go back to page 5 and you get that long-winded soliloquy, I don't think it works, because if he's succinct up until he transforms and then he gives that speech, I think it's like 5 times more powerful. That he's just an old man that speaks in soft, simple sentences, answering directly and concisely. And then once he transforms, he's this eloquent being that's, ranting about how he's trapped in this mortal realm of a prison. I just think that would work so much better. But I love this page layout. Absolutely love the page layout. Love the horns. Love the shadow. The projection. Absolutely great. And I also love how now we not only are we gray, but now you're seeing the skulls. That there are skulls everywhere in the house.
Do you not wish that this page were inverted?
What do you mean? Inverted right to left?
Yeah. Well, I mean, top to bottom, that would just be silly.
Well, I don't know where you're headed, man. What would be your reasoning for that?
Because you were
Eyeline guide?
drawn to the image before you were drawn to the word, so it would be a better experience if he were on the left, and then you looked at him and then read on the right, so you were moving left to right.
Yes, I can see that. We're on an odd numbered page, so this is a page turn, right? So you want to draw down to the lower right, which I think they're
Okay.
accomplishing both with lettering and putting the figure on the right side of the page. Is your eyes, you read your letters in the top left, you're drawn down across Krampus's visage. Again, he's drawn long, like they stretched him. So you kind of have to dwell, you kind of have to float down. You get that secondary line of dialogue, and then boom, you're at the page turn. And you turn the page and we get the, long enough. I'm tired of it. Kill me and send me home. And I love Hellboy. Efficient, as always. A+2 on the sound effect lettering with the blam in the gun blast. Absolutely awesome. But Hellboy just says, okay, and shoots him.
I want to grab that panel and just use it in out of context conversations on Twitter.
But I love Krampus's response. He asks Hellboy to kill him. Hellboy does. He pulls out his gun and shoots him. And Krampus's response is no, not like that. And then they go through this great fight sequence. They're rolling back and forth. Big Red gets a couple of good punches in. There's a couple of little lines. I liked it too at the last where he swings his fist, the fist of doom, and just says boom. Just that fun stuff that you like to see. Now, we are going to pause at this point because in the back matter of this, there's a bunch of Adams Hughes sketches. And one of them is of this page 12 for how they broke it out originally and a couple of the different ideas. And one of the things that I thought was really cool about this is initially you can see they're doing it's the standard stack that they've been playing with this whole issue, only they're breaking it up so you get that joint perspective, right? Let's go back to the art. Joint perspective. So we're going to do it from Krampus's point of view, then from Hellboy's point of view, then from Hellboy's point of view to Krampus's point of view, and then we've got the final act, boom, the action moment. And like, what if that doesn't work? What if we just did a 2x2? And they do that with the same inversion, again, using Wally Wood's 22-page panels that always work. We're applying it here. And then where did they go with that? The where they ended up was to do these angular panels. They're the ones that you finally get, which offers a lot more dynamic action, but we're still playing with that perspective shift. I thought that was pretty cool, how it's like a blend of all of the first two. Just they twisted the panels a little bit to give it that action, because up till now, everything's been static and it's all been static panel stacks. Now that we've got some action, we're twisting the panels just a little bit to show a little bit of dynamic motion. I thought that was pretty cool, just seeing the process that happened in.
I am going to need you to comment on Bemis's comments.
Bemis says, let's see. Aldous really hates that page. You're damn right I hate that. I do not like page number 5, man. If that page was a person, Aldous would punch it in the face. I would. I absolutely would. You are not wrong, sir. I'm glad that that's coming across. If that page had a name, it would be Sucky McSucksuck. Okay. I'll lower down my hate for page 5. So then we get some more action. I love this crash, the smash through the wall. Great. Again, the action in this is done so well, and it's moving. We're already on page 12 or page 13. We're over halfway through the book. And it's just, you don't feel like any time's gone by. Just the efficient use of storytelling methodology and how the dialogue's been dropped down. You get that one monologue, other than the page that I'm not allowed to mention anymore, and we're moving, man, and it's flying through. We're really, really efficient storytelling. And then we get to this, and it's a little bit of a pause. It's a reverie of sorts in the back and forth between Krampus and Hellboy. And I thought this was really nice because he just keeps on screaming, "Kill me."
Mm.
And again, you get the personality of Hellboy. Very simple, but he's pinned down by Krampus screaming, "Kill me." Krampus is on Hellboy's back. He's pinned to the ground and he says, "Geez, I'm working on it. Give me a," and then before he can even spit it out, Krampus slams him again, screaming, "Kill me." And then we get this great shot of skulls on the bottom. Now, I thought this is really, really smart because of what's going to happen. And earlier in the book, going all the way back to page 1, we played with "Come All You Merry Gentlemen." We're playing with illusion. We're playing with metaphor. Here, we're getting even more into that, right? We're going to show the skulls because now, as Hellboy's losing, we get the image of that toy from the apparition way back on page 2, right here. We get the apparition of the toy. It comes back. It pops into his head as Krampus is throttling Hellboy. And Hellboy drifts into the woods mentally, and he starts seeing all the victims of Krampus. And they kind of, I love the little tug, like just tug, like a child would tug at your cloak. And he turns his head and he looks down. Love this page. Love the page. Like the birch trees, everything is like such a perfect choice of everything here. Great angles, great shots, really, really well done.
That's what they are. I was trying to think of what those trees were called.
And one of the victims hands him a knife. And then we get a nice zoom in on Krampus's eye, and he just stabs him with the knife.
Yeah, that's obviously a callback to that commercial with Mean Joe Green for Coca-Cola. "Here, Mr. Green, you can have my Coca-Cola," only it's a dead kid and a knife.
Right, and I like the exchange. It's just Krampus goes, "Oh, Hellboy, yeah. How did you get that? It's a mystery, pal. Merry Christmas." Like, just simple. Boom, boom. Then we get some knocking at the door, and the Krampus is dying. He's falling. He's finally been freed. Any thoughts on the dialogue here?
I can't remember. Did this like set their souls free or no?
Yeah, it's kind of like all the souls of all the children that he's killed over the hundreds and hundreds of years that he's been chained to the mortal realm, that he's been doing his job. They've all been trapped, and now that he's fading from existence or returning to the place that he was born from, everything's kind of getting released, and all the bones start falling out of their places where they were hidden throughout. And we get that same shot that we called back to earlier, back on page 14 of the skulls, only now it's the same shot, but it's like the souls are escaping. Everything that was trapped, that by Krampus killing him, those children had been trapped in like an ether zone, or he was feeding off of them or something, but they're there. And now that he's gone, they can return to where they came from. And then we return to Krampus as he's going through his death throes. Again, beautifully laid out page. This book, I can't recommend it enough. I think it's just a really fun read. And Hughes is really going to town. Except for page 5. With a lot of stuff, but and Krampus is celebrating. This is what he wanted. He's free. He's free at last. And then, but there's something wrong. There's something wrong, and he starts kind of fading and shrinking and he disappears into what? What was your take on that? What does he fade into?
I think he fades into Minneapolis.
Okay. But he just kind of fades, and you get this dried out husk that remains with the knife in it. And then Hellboy says, well, that was something, and kind of walks away. And then we get scene shift 72 hours later, BRPD headquarters, Fairfield, Connecticut, Christmas Day. Well, I wonder what old Mary Middleton would have to do if I'd have to call him in the morning. And we turn the page. And we're back. We're in, again, contrast, this warm environment. And he's back at headquarters. Hellboy's back at headquarters, and he's talking with everybody. I don't think any of this was really needed.
No. And I hate that floated head. And I hate that he looks like he was in System of a Down.
I did not like panel 1 at all, and I really thought a lot of this dialogue was just a little over the top. I don't think it's needed. I thought just Hellboy walking away really works as the end of a story. And then we've got one.
I would much rather have preferred the book ending with him, I don't know, maybe conversing with the ghost in the woods again.
Right, something as a callback to the intro sequence.
Yeah.
But I thought the perfect ending here is this. Like, I don't think this page is needed. And like I said earlier, there were 2 pages that really bugged me. It's page 5 and it's page 21 of the story. I think page 5, yes, you need it in the context of the story. It just needs some substantial changes that I think make this book really sing. This is not needed at all. I don't think
is that the carpet from The Shining?
Yes, it is the carpet from The Shining.
Got it. So, and it's snowy. So that's, you asked where they went. They went to
the Overlook.
Yeah.
But and then we close out the story with this, and I think this is the perfect ending. I think you just have Hellboy sitting in front where he buried Krampus.
So tear out page 21?
Yes. I don't think it's needed.
Done.
And then it ends. And then we go to the back matter. But first I want to talk about did I not save it? I did not save it. So back matter, we get this this nice little Christmas memories. And I thought this was a really, really cool introduction here. We get just photographs out of Hellboy at Christmas. And it's Christmas 1946. I got a Lobster Johnson decoder ring. And it's young little baby Hellboy with his Lobster Johnson decoder ring. Thought that was pretty cool.
I could swear that was something that you could order out of an issue of Jupiter.
Yeah. I think Jason Sandberg did have an ad for a decoder ring.
Mm.
And then we've got this one, which is Christmas 95, the year Abe got drunk. And of course, Abe Sapien is, blackout drunk there hanging on everybody. Like that. And then just with Alice. Kind of nice. Just 3 little touching photos. Again, one of the things that I think is so endearing about Hellboy or BRPD with what Magnolia has done is you get, as terrifying as the stories always are, they do a good job of always regrounding it. Whether it's something like this with just a couple of simple photos where it gets the impression that it's like a family photo album and this was something special and there was a memory here that he's always going to carry with him. Just everything is very incredibly human. It's done in the same way like Claremont did with the X-Men. Like, even though they're outsiders, there's still very, very human moments. Even though they're immensely powerful beings, you still have those human moments. I think that's one of the things that Magnolia does so well with Hellboy. Going back to the Crooked Man, I think that was what made that story so captivating, was the human element is done so incredibly well. And again, we see that here. Only this time, in this case, the story Hellboy is essentially the stand-in for the human perspective, with Krampus being the terrifying deity.
I like how this image captures a bit of the majesty of Mont Blanc.
Oh, there you go. And Kayla agrees that the birch trees framed everything well, and as does Henry Bemis. I love the birch forest in this setting. I thought that was just a great page. This is so brilliant. To use the birch trees just to add into that white ambience and really hit home the contrast from everything. Just really, really smart, really beautiful page. And then be sure. Oh, here you go. Snuggy Jr. got his secret decoder ring out, and he says, "Be sure to drink your Ovaltine." There you
Is that
go.
a reference to something?
Jesus Christ, were you raised under a rock, man?
Look, can you just tell me what it was?
A Christmas Story.
Oh, okay. Well, I hate that movie.
What is wrong with you? You're a communist. All right. And then at the very end of the book, for an additional little pretty cool back matter, like I said, we get these great sketches of Hughes kind of warming up and getting familiar with the character, showing Hellboy in different poses. I loved this one where he's figuring out how he's going to do Krampus. And you get kind of the rough sketch of the layout of the skull and how he's kind of doing the anatomy. And then you get kind of one alteration of the face and then what they finally settled on. And this is the other thing that all of the Hellboy comics do so well is they all have this general continuity that, man, the monsters in their face and their eyes look like they're right out of like the Necronomicon from Evil Dead. It's just they look evil in it's an absolute home run in their creature designs. Really good. And then two, you've got like this big hulking shoulders with kind of these narrow arms and waist that are coming out at the perspective they've chosen with the chains. Just really great character design. And then some more sketches for, again, that skull face. How are we going to do the horns? And you can see that Hughes is just kind of noodling around. But again, what do we have? We still have that consistency of those bulking shoulders with the tapered waist, tapered torso, the chains, the shackles. Just really great to see that process. And then I liked the old man. And down here at the bottom, it says, when he was in his human form, Hughes referred to him as Grampus, not Krampus. I thought that was kind of a nice little line there. And then the final one, of course, is the more of the folky, the true folktale design of Krampus, almost like a throwback that you'd see from the 1800s or the 1700s in like an illuminated manuscript or something. And of course, this is the design they did with the picture that Hellboy shows him when he first gets to his abode earlier. If I can scroll up, I'll find that page. That was...
While you're doing that, just
right
to
here.
address some false rumors in the chat, Ovaltine is chocolate, but it is also malt. It is malt.
Ugh. Yeah, Kayla's saying Ovaltine existed in the 90s. I was not aware of that. We just always used Nesquik. Yeah, we got Nesquik. Exactly. Didn't everybody? And I love the process shots are always cool. I always think that's a great ad. And dude, that's something for all you indie creators out there. Like that kind of stuff, there's a lot of people that enjoy it. Just like there's only one person that actually reads back matter and front matter, and that's me. But yeah, that kind of stuff, everybody seems to like it when you throw some concept drawings in, or just little human moments like this. I think this is for something like Hellboy that the character's already established. Shots like these add a lot to the mythos of the character, and I think that kind of stuff's really important.
So, do you think this book is a metaphor for the value, or I guess, would you say that this book is almost a metaphor against automation?
How so?
Well, don't use a gun. If you're going to do something, do it with your bare hands.
Well, I think it's a metaphor that, the modern semblances, and you got to remember too the world that Magnolia has built here. Hellboy's a creature from hell just as much as the Krampus is. Going back to that page when he gives that speech, man, where is that? That's we're Pandemonium. That's where they're from. And the gun does not exist in Pandemonium. That's an essence of man. But the knife is universal. The edge, to stab something, to make it personal. And I think that's what he was looking for. He wants to be killed by one of his own. He wants to be sent back to hell where he was born.
I love it when you answer my joke questions as if it is 100% serious.
I do what I can. But Henry Bemis says, my grandma made us chocolate milk with Nesquik powder, but she never quite stirred it, so it was all lumpy. Thanks, Grandma. That was always the best part, though. You get a little bit of the powder on the spoon that kind of creates that like Nesquik mud. You eat that. That was delicious, man. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. Exactly. There you go. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. This is an absolute recommend for me. Again, this is not a hard book to find. 3 to 5. Don't pay more than 5. But $3 to $5 is what you're looking at. And while you're grabbing this issue, grab a couple of the other shorts that are in the Hellboy or the BRPD world, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. One of the things moving forward I'd really like to do is cover some more of these. What were your thoughts, JP?
I would recommend it. And from the combination of two experiences, reading and reviewing Hellboy, I think I want to read more Hellboy.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. This is a great series. I think it's the standout, at least in my opinion, for the last 20 years. I think it's as far as like semi-ongoings go. And it hits that perfect spot, because I have yet to find a Hellboy book that I wouldn't feel comfortable handing my kids for the most part. They're fun. Yeah, they've got some horror elements, but they're usually fun, good stories, and there's usually a good moral built somewhere in there. And I don't know, I really enjoy that. It's a little bit different than a lot of the stuff you see these days.
Do you have any feelings on the Del Toro movies?
I like them both. I like the first one much more than the second one. The second one seems burdened by its own existence.
What the hell does that mean?
It was trying too hard to top.
It insists on itself.
It insists.
Lois. The Godfather? No, didn't like it.
It insists on it, you asshole.
No, I asked because the missus, is a massive Del Toro fan, and she says that 2 is like miles better.
Oh, I like 1. I think 1, maybe as a film, 1 I think is a better adaptation of the comic.
Got it.
The one with the guy from Stranger Things that plays Hoop Hop is awful. Absolutely awful. It is so terrible. But I really liked the one that we talked about with Crooked Man. The Crooked Man I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that other than, we had our critiques at the time. I'm not going to review them again here, but outside of a few little minor issues, I thought that was a really good adaptation as well. So if I had to pick, I would rank them as Del Toro's first one, The Crooked Man, Hellboy 2, and then the absolutely awful one with the guy from Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
So, but without further ado, I think that's going to do it for us. Oh, and there we go. Ziggs has decided to join us. The real hostman is here. I love the Del Toro movies. Well, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, it's right at the end, but JP is going to go watch A Christmas Story and find it trite and uninspired. 1 star to 5.
No, I've seen it. I don't like it. It was on 24 hours a day, and I never laughed once at it.
What is wrong with you, man? How broken are you?
Look, it's no Muppet Christmas Carol.
Okay, well, nothing is the Muppet Christmas Carol, which I need to find a way where we can talk about the Muppet Christmas Carol every year. That's what we need to do for
I kicked around the idea to the missus, and she has agreed. If you want her to come on and have like a panel of all of us gushing.
You were about to say a 3-way.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, we're gonna have a key party here on the gutter.
There you go. No. But yeah, man, that'd be great. We could talk about that and see if that could work that out.
Yeah, but let me know. We'll have the threesome.
There you go. Hostman says, I had movie night with a buddy. I get in when I can. Well, it's always appreciated, brother. Good to see you. JP's a hipster, just move on. And over on the Twitch stream, we have a bot. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Make sure you head over to whatever that link is.
Yeah, don't do that. All right. Well, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You are welcome to join us in the back room tonight to shoot the shit or just tell us how terrible this episode was, or tell us how much you love us and dearly. But from us to you, from you to us, have a wonderful evening. Oh, wait, I got to do one more here. Let's talk Kurosawa. I've been rewatching his movies on HBO Max. We probably need to do that on a Wednesday. We could just cover a whole episode on the show talking about a Kurosawa film for sure. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. So talk to you later. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on Wednesday on the show, which will be back this week. Apologies for having to postpone last week. Take it easy, y'all.
This is blood for blood and by the gallons. This is the old days, man, the bad days, the all or nothing days. They're back. There's no choices left.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.